What's a health test look like for a litter of pups, including the sire and dam before the breeding for both of you?
So health tests have gotten more common. Then there are more of them, like DNA testing and so on, things that are common in wine breed. We test for all that. We DNA test, we hips, elbows, eyes, thyroid.
Yeah, the parent club, the Wine Club of America, has requirements to get the CHIC number, the Canine Health Institute number.
Right.
And I believe it's hips, elbows, thyroid. There's DNA markers for 3 different DNA tests. Eyes. Is cardiac on it?
Cardiac is now. That's new.
Is there one thing that you all kind of like hope you don't have? Is there anything that's plaguing the Weimaraner at all?
I would say HOD, that it can be poor food or it could be vaccine related.
Is that bone growth development when
yes,
puppies?
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It grows too fast or something like that. And you can tell we're not experts on this because we just have not seen it.
Yeah, bloat, and there are no markers for it. But we ask and we try to know the dogs that we're using in our program. So hopefully the people that we're breeding to we can trust, and we try to maintain the relationship so that we can get some honesty when we're looking at dogs if they have stuff like that.
We talk about backyard breeders sometime, and you could get lucky and you can get that. But when I got here, we were starting to talk about the rear legs and dogs. And when you were into Weimaraners, when was the first time you even heard the term ACL on a dog?
Honestly, I heard about it, and it was because this dog was coming here, and the dog had ACL issues. Mm-hmm. So the dog was in a brace, and his hock angles were so straight.
Right.
That in the horse world, we would have called that post-legged. It was not, the angulation was not.
Almost like a kid walking on stilts.
Very much so.
Just stiff-legged.
Yeah, exactly. And you could see why the dog was having issues there. So knee problems, essentially.
Right.
Because
instead of having the bendable and flexibility, that hock joint, it was too vertical.
Very much. But
it's like an epidemic now.
And I can't, that's the part I don't understand. And, we use show dogs in our breedings all the time. I feel that our females are enough to carry, if they say, oh, the show dog won't hunt or whatever they say, I don't know.
Yeah.
I won't breed to a dog that I haven't seen in action.
Right.
And I've, luckily a few years ago, we had this great show dog come here. He's beautiful on point, owner's great guy, super biddable dog.
The dog just didn't happen to go to South Dakota ever.
No, and
but
the dog,
he could have.
and yeah, he could have.
Right.
Wasn't a huge running dog, but the female that I used with him was a big.
You knew you were going to produce.
Yes.
I always say, the best boxer never stepped into a ring. He might have been a carpenter. He just never boxed, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking at your older dogs, do you pay attention to the hock, and you learn that from where? I mean,
So I'm equine background, as you know. I was a horse show judge. I judged halter horses. I judged, conformation and the equine stuff. So that's all very important to me. You look at the animal and you see, are they balanced? What are their angles like? Are they conformationally correct for the breed?
Right.
It's very important. If they're too straight in the rear, you're going to have ACL tears.
Right.
You want them to be conformationally correct. You don't want them to be too easty-westy. You don't want them to be too cowhocked. And those are all things that come from my equine background as well.
In the show ring, where the judge will ask you to not just go around the ring so she can see, let's say, the gait of the dog.
The down and back.
The down and back.
Yep.
When you see your own dogs in the yard, is that in you to always be looking at the gait of the dog?
I do actually, which is kind of funny, and it is probably because I judged horse shows for many, many years.
Yeah.
So Cody was a bench champion. I think we touched on that. Mm-hmm. She was not what you would call the typical show Weim. She didn't have the big chest. She didn't, she wasn't extreme angles. But the one thing, the reason she finished with 3 majors, and she, when her handler would gate her, she was gorgeous. I mean, she moved like she was floating on a cloud, and I'll never forget watching her get pulled up from maybe reserve to win.
Wow.
Because she was just a beautiful mover. And I've always been a sucker for an animal that moves like that. Same thing with horses.
Right.
I want to see them move like it's effortless and beautiful, and
they're
and
not pounding the ground.
No, and she wouldn't. She just floated. Her handler would gate her, and all you'd see is like her just gating. It was like watching her float through the ring. It was just a beautiful thing to watch.
I've seen that in the ring a bit, and I've learned to appreciate it.
Yes, that's exactly it. So you want a dog that moves effortlessly through no matter what they're doing. If it's out in the field and they're working birds or they're going through the woods, same thing.
Yeah.
You want to see them move like that.
Yeah, there's like an elegance to it.
Totally.
As opposed to a clumsiness to it.
Totally.
And I've had dogs that I can hear them coming like a quarter horse. And I've had dogs that come by me and I never heard their feet hit the ground.
Right.
And that confirmation is what gives you that.
Yes.
You know.
I've always felt that Weims should look like Weims.
Right.
And I feel that they should be able to move and hunt and not be burned out or crashing through the woods,
Right.
smashing into stuff.
Yep.
You know, you want to see them move beautifully, and Cody was just a gorgeous, gorgeous mover.
Is there currently any problems in the show versus the field work, or is it coming together, or is it going
No,
apart?
it's so split that it's not really even funny. I mean, I think the GSP breed has kept it together where they can still
Right.
have good field. In the Weims, there's a huge split.
Okay.
I am of the belief that Weims should look like Weims, so I have always used show lines in my breeding program. Always.
And meaning confirmation's good
Correct.
confirmation.
It has to be, yes. And I mean, some of the straight field dogs are just, they're ugly. You know, you've got splay feet, you've got lack of chest, they're small. I mean, this is a straight field show cross right here, this girl. She's absolutely perfect conformationally, but she's little. So I wouldn't spend the money to try to finish this dog because she's too small.
Because in the show ring,
Yeah.
she's not going to get
She's on the lower end of the standard. She's within standard.
The dogs that are winning are enormous, but they're also plunky, right? Like they're the right height, but you see these bitches that are like 75, 80 pounds.
right, and that was never in any.
No.
She's barely 50. I mean,
Right.
conformationally, she's correct.
Yeah, she's
and,
beautiful dog.
And seeing her on point, she's stunning.
So you're saying that in the show ring, they're staying within the standard, but the appeal is for a bigger dog that's not basically you could almost say not built for the field anymore. To me, it sounds a 75-pound female would be big in any breed of dog.
I have a hard time imagining these dogs hunting for an hour, let alone a day or a weekend or a week,
Right.
like we do with our dogs.
Right. So the biggest difference, would you say, in the show split is one, the size, but is it as much a split in the percent of actual hunting Weims that are in it? Is that the
Yes.
biggest split?
Yeah. Oh, I would absolutely say that.
There is no breed warden in this country. So it's going to be up to the breeders to stay within the standard and breed what they feel is the best they can breed. But there's nobody putting a stamp on it that says you can't.
Right.
Right. What do you feel about that?
Oh, you know what? That's actually a tough question because I, you know, as you know, grew up with Weims, and to me, they were just really a hunting dog that our family always had. So I don't know if that would, and I can't see the show side of the house ever wanting to agree to that.
No, I can't either. I just wondered, maybe that's why we've got such good dogs that came from Europe for all these years.
Right.
Because in Europe, I would bet the parent club is like that with Weimaraners.
Oh, they absolutely are.
Right? They're like, we don't care if you love your dog more than we do.
Well,
We found a flaw, and it's a flaw.
like for example, the German trainer that has visited here and does her seminar here really wanted to use my young male Walker. Well, Walker's missing teeth, and I was very honest about that. I said, no, you don't want to use him. He's missing teeth. You can't. I mean, if it pops up,
Right.
you know, that's something that probably goes back to the fact that Weims were crossed with pointers at some point in time. So it is what it is. But my conscience could not let me have her use that dog,
Right.
and knowing that could be a problem for her in Europe.
Right.
If you've been enjoying the content you're watching, would you do tag us a favor? Please hit the like and the subscribe button.